Welcome guys! Told you we had some fun art plans coming up, so this is just like one of the coolest. See? Purple paper? It's not purple, we're under a blacklight. How cool is that? I am going to be making glow in the dark Tetris. Yeah, I'm excited because I'm a big kid and I grew up in the Tetris generation where we had Tetris on all our phones. I even had a little game system that all it did was play Tetris. That was the only thing it did. And I had little magnets here to remind me of all the shapes that usually sit on my husband's wall, which I'm going to paint with glow in the dark paint probably in this process, in which he will hurt me if I do. Not really hurt me because he's not like that, but he probably won't be very impressed. What was that? Why don't break them apart, the magnets? Okay, don't fiddle with them. Very hard to say to someone with Asperger's that fidgets, don't fiddle. Shouldn't have given me them. It might be really bad on his part. No, I need them. Anyway, they're being reclaimed. I need them for the video. Oh, he's holding them up now, really. Anyway, you see, this is what happens in this house. I do apologise. Back to the video. I'm going to be doing a piece all about Tetris where I'm going to be painting with Culture Hustle's lip paint, which is absolutely amazing. Please don't do that, Michael. He's also got Asperger's, so we make a right pair. And every single one of these Tetris pieces should be glowing at the end. Yeah, so hopefully we could have a great deal of fun painting like this. I'm a little bit giddy today, so that should add to some of the amusement while painting. And let's just get on with it and see how it goes. And I'm being trusted! Aha! Foolish man. Right guys, welcome back. Well, not you didn't go anywhere, but I did for a minute while we set all this up. So, it's going to be a bit of a, well, you're going to be watching me do a lot of fast drawing in this, or stop motion motion in this, but overall it should be a load of fun. I'm going to first get this all stuck up in place, so I've got a stable surface to be working with. You've seen me use this tape before. That's not the straightest of lines, which is what I really could use, which is frog tape, which I really like because of the level of tack. It's really light, doesn't destroy my paper as I pull it back up again, so it gives me really nice borders on my pieces of art. And I find that this is really nice. Oh, it's a bit thick, but that's the only criticism I've got for it. So let's get these all on and in place, and then we can quickly move on with the art itself. So, Tetris was kind of iconic in our era. When by our era, I mean anyone that was pretty much in the 80s, 90s kids. We grew up with Nintendos, NES Master Systems, and that meant big games like, well, Tetris, Snake. They were on our phones all the time, and they kind of fall into the retro arcade style now, I believe. My son's just discovered Tetris 6, and he thinks he's discovered this brand new amazing game, which I think is absolutely hysterical. But it's like, Mummy, this is super cool. Have you seen this ever before in your life? I'm like, you know what, I have. Kind of grew up with it. So, I've got my paper, and I'm going to sketch out our lines and margins first. Now I will be going around them with black lines in the end as well, but with me painting I'm going to save a lot of the black line work till the very end because it just makes it a lot easier. So I'm going to use darker pencil than I would do normally, And we're going to work out exactly how big we want these blocks to be, which starts with me measuring the size of the paper, which is 19 centimetres across. So if I want to make this any decent sized, I think I want to go for 1 centimetre blocks as the core, and I'm going to have them falling, so it's not going to be the entire thing, but I want to leave a border as well. Now, since it's not exactly 9 centimetres, what I'm going to do is I'm going to indent it in. So I'm going to make sure that we have a very clear marking in. So we're going to indent it in there and indent it in there, and that will allow us to build this border. And we'll do the same at the top. And this is just our border where we can just have to make sure that the rest of the blocks are going to fall at the right size. Now, I need to build a grid across my entire board before I do anything else. So I am going to do the same top and bottom. So work out the border along this height now. Come on. So I'm going to bring it in again, so I've got a clear margins where I can actually be doing work, basically. I don't want to be running out of space. And I'm going to now just draw those lines across my borders, and they are going to be space that I will not be using for the blocks. So now it's time to build a grid, a 1 centimetre grid, which I'm going to use a softer pencil for first, because I want to be able to rub out after I put the shapes on. So I want a really light pencil. So I'm going to show you first how I do it, and then I'm going to let it speed up as I go through all the rest of the process, because it's not the most exciting thing to watch. I have indented that slightly. Nope, that is right. So I'm going to mark across the board each centimetre marking, top and bottom, and basically be joining each line up. And I'm going to be doing the same all the way top to bottom as well, which, as I said, is not the most thrilling process, but if you want an accurate cubes, an accurate piece for this style work, it is an exceptionally important process to make sure you do right and take your time to make sure these measurements work. So I'm going to let the cameras speed up this process for you and get back to you afterwards. Right guys, so you can see I've got a grid of 1 centimetre squares. Now at the moment it's nothing, it's literally a starting point, and a lot of this is just a guideline for me to start working at what I want and where I want the lovely patterns of these to go. So I want to start building these shapes on here and darkening a few lines, rubbing out some lines and working out where it's going to be. Now when you're playing Tetris, some of the stuff at the bottom has already started to fall through, so you'll get some single bits. You've got some bits that are falling down at the top, so we can have it coming to about there, maybe about there. We'll use the blackest black, I'd say, to fill that bit in, and then we can have their surrounds maybe in a grey tone, because we can have lines going across them too, like blocks, because that's how the traditional ones were done. Now we will be filling in the blocks as well, because these, they don't have the lines on them, but traditionally the lines did go over the blocks themselves. The paint, I think, will hide some of that, so they will get drawn over with pen in the end, which is why some of these errors of drawing don't really matter too much, although I will make sure they're rubbed out just to ensure they don't show through, just in case. Obviously paint does show it. I've not used this paint on paper before, only on rock art, so I'm not sure how it's going to show, but it being cultural hustle, it tends to be pretty good quality. So I wanted to use a bit of a deeper pencil to a bit of a harder pencil. Let's have a look. This one. They stick my pencils, there we go, in there to work out what I'm going to do. Now all I'm going to be doing to this is really roughly going, I'm going to have had 1 with 3 that would have fallen through the lines, and all the rest of it is still there peeking through. This one's going to have had a box shaped one, and the rest of it is still there peeking its way through. Maybe that one's just got one cube there left, the rest of it still there. And the idea being just build up slowly, so we could have maybe onto here it could have had another one of the L shapes on top, and just to build those lines to show where they are, have another box there. And I used to love it when we got the big long ones like that. So I'm going for 6 colours to match, so I need no more than 6 different shapes. Now this I'm having coming from a different shape, so we've got 1, 2 in the different angles they go, 3 with the box, 4 with the L's, because are the L's different shapes for different angles? Are they different shapes, or are they just flipped? They're the same. 3, 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different shapes. So that's what we're going for, and that's 6 different colours. So as I draw these on, watch me add these. I'm watching Wimbledon, the men's final at the same time, which is cool. So hope you enjoyed me adding these and trying to figure out the games. I don't actually snooker myself in a game of Tetris while I'm drawing it, which was actually a fun thing I actually managed to do. The first time I tried to draw something like this, I actually got myself stuck. So enjoy, and I'll be back with you when I start mixing paint. start adding some colour. I think I'm going to start by actually blacking out where the colour isn't going to be, because it makes it a little bit easier. So we're going to start with the black and the grey, get that to dry, and then we'll start with the really, really super fun bit. So let's find where I put my box for my pencil. Here it is. And start with some boxing out of colours. The black and grey going on is going to be very simplistically done. I think it might be a grey. I'm going to look for a block colour I've already got pre-mixed, so it might be a deeper. I might be actually going for a deeper purple actually, because I've got a nice one pre-mixed to go around the edge. I wanted one. Let's have a look what I've got. I'm being lazy and not wanting to mix, but I actually do have a spare tub around me. I'm sure I can find something to mix in. I will find something. Alright, I'll be back with you, but right now I'm just going to leave you to watch me getting all this blocked out, and there'll be a bit of drying time at the end of this before we come and actually play with the lit colours, which are going to be absolutely amazing fun to play with, guys. And you'll see why I love them quite so much once I get them mixed and on the board. So let's get some paint and start painting the real cool bit. Painting is where the fun begins. Guys, you've seen what I did there. There was a couple of errors because my hands shake. It's part of my illness. I corrected them as best as I could with little bits of white paint, but I think the best thing to say to you guys, if you do get errors, just try and go with the flow. A couple of them I ended up just painting down when it was with the black and just absorbing that particular Tetris shape and moving in. A couple of the lower down ones I just covered it up with white paint and I'm hoping it'll just get absorbed with the lit. But you know what? It happens. As I said, my hands naturally shake. It's part of, well, having chronic illness, and my body just, well, doesn't work the same. But we're gonna now mix these lit paints and you're gonna see quite how awesome they are, because I have a Blacklight too. So, fun time. So, I have Culture Hustle's lip paint and I'm using their Superbase to mix it with because it is the best stuff. And we are going to have some beautiful colours at the end of this, so let's get going. I'll start with mixing some yellow, and I want to get my pad so I can test the colours properly. There's a good page to colour testing. I have a page which I doodle all over. Doodle page. There we go, doodle page. Perfect for this kind of thing. So, I mean, look at that glow already. Now, this paint is just, well, it's advertised as the glowiest paint, which I'm sure is not an actual word, but we're going with it. We're going to make the glowiest Tetris set. Glowiest Tetris piece of work going. And my hands are going to glow at the end of this, and every time I've used this, my palette glowed for weeks afterwards, so we're using little pots instead. Because I'm fed up of my palette glowing for weeks. And my board is still going to glow for weeks because I've opened, look, the powder goes everywhere. And look, my hands, I already got it on. It gets everywhere, but it's worth it. You'll see how worth it is when I start pouring in the soup. And that's one thing about the Superbase, it does that. I need to get some of that liquid out there. This Superbase is one of the best bases I've found for working with anything, but it just seems to settle. And I did shake it, apparently not enough. Let's see, try again. There we go, that's better. And let's have a look at you. How glowy can we make paint today? You should see it on the end of a paintbrush as well. It literally looks like I'm painting with radioactive. Look at that. So, yellow paint. Ha ha ha. Can we make it glow? I think we can. Let's test it. I think we need a little bit more paint in there, don't we? It's a bit too much base in. No, I put too much paint in. Ah, goodness me. Oh, my paint, my poor paint. It's not the cheapest paint in the world, but it's so... This might get used to make something else afterwards. Oh yes, look at that. Can you see the glow? Let's have a look. Oh yes, that's staying nicely on the paper now. Glowy yellow paint. So I'm going to mix some paint quickly and I'll be back with you. So we turned the lights out so you could actually see what was going on with these paints properly and what I was working with. And quite the extent of what's going on. And how cool they actually are. And yeah, it is really weird. They get everywhere. I mean, if you can't actually see the water, my paint pot water is even starting to glow. Which is just, looks like you're working with radioactive materials. It is just cool. So I made the blue and I'm going to remake the next colour because it just didn't turn out very well. So pink, we have a bright pink. You can see even the pots they come in. I mean, look at that. And I'm going to go back to silent while I'm making this. You can watch these colours come to life. Right guys, so you can see I've tested all the paints as we've been going. Check we've got them glowing right. We'll put them to the side now. I have now got what looks like radioactive paint. Amazing. It looks even more amazing when you start painting with it on the end of your paintbrush. So it's time to start painting with this stuff and filling in these lovely shapes we made earlier. Let's find a paintbrush that will be a bit easier for me to handle. That one is usually good for me. So one of the first things you want to do is assign your colours. So I'm going to assign pink to this shape. And sometimes these paints, even if you have made sure the right thickness, you will need to put a couple of layers on. It's just how it is. But they look amazing when on. So just go over and start going around and have fun with it. I mean, come on, you've got glowing paints. I mean, look at the end of the paper. How much fun is that? This one's not going to be a double layer one. I'm going to put some on this. And we're just going to start going around and painting up all these. And trying not to just your hands best I can. So I'm going to go around and do this and leave you to watch me as I go. And then I'll come back to you at the end just before I do the inkwork, just to say hi quickly. Alright, have fun watching guys. Right, I'm getting my husband to turn the light on because it allows me to actually check differences a bit easier and actually leave the light on for a minute and actually do a lot of the neatening up work that needs to be done. It's actually a bit easier on my eyes, and I will show you a full blacklight version at the end. It's just all the neatening up work. It's a lot easier to do like this. Plus there's a very, very subtle difference between the pinks and the purpley colour that I made. So I think I'm going to mix a bit more blue into it. It's not different enough really. So let's go and mix a bit more blue into this. So they're not standing out. And we need them to. We're getting two colours that are very similar to each other. Change this up a bit, but it is there we go. It is starting to look really good. And I know you can see there's bits that's going over the edges, but by the time I get the pen out at the end and I also neaten up some of the black and grey, it'll look a lot better. So I'm going to go back to just leaving you to watch what I'm doing as it slowly comes together. And I keep working on neatening and adding the layers as needed. But I just wanted to let you know why I was doing that and why the lighting suddenly changed. Right guys, so we've got everything dry. Even managed to do a bit of a crazy video in the middle of this, so you'll have another video coming on to get rid of the rest of leftover paints. Now, I'm not going to take the tape off at the end of this because I'll be wanting to put some acrylic glaze on, but I will take a picture off and put it in the comments and on Instagram for you. So, I have my very, very, very trusty uniball signo pen, and now I'm just going to go over these lines and neaten everything up. Ooh, most of it's dry, but I will be neatening everything up and show you what the final effect will look like. Remember, I was going to put lines around the board, but I think I'm going to leave it as it is so the interior stands out a little bit more, and then I'll come and talk to you at the end, show you what it is like with the light on and off, and yeah. So I'm going to get drawing. Guys, so it will stop in a minute. I was going to do the lights on and off and just show them the final piece. I need you stood there ready to do it. Right guys, so this is the final piece with the lights on. You can see there are imperfections. There will be with any piece like this, especially handshakes, but I think it's looking kind of cool. I hope you try and replicate this yourself. It does take a bit of time, but it's really good fun to use. And if you haven't got this kind of paint, just try it with normal paints or try it with markers. And yeah, I'll show you with the lights off as well. So you can see, so there's lights off, how cool it looks glowing. It's rather funky. So yeah, if you're into this kind of thing, I hope you really enjoy looking at the effects, and I hope you enjoyed this retro style art video. Stay safe and well guys, and have fun just getting into art, enjoy what you're doing, and I think that's always going to be the most important thing. See you later guys.